Good morning. Yesterday ended abruptly. My phone rang off the hook. Nobody ever calls me, and all of a sudden I get like 4 calls in the middle of filming. So I think I finished this with you, but hopefully I put my camera up high enough that you can see the whole page instead of from here down. It's okay. I did add, this was a ad for a flowered rug, and I put, this is a printable from a Patreon site that I do, and I only do 3. And anyhow, I like how that turned all out. And today is supposed to be semi-nice for this time of year. And high tide is around noon. My friend is here. Oops. Well, she's leaving tomorrow. Her husband's in a golf tournament. They're not leaving till tomorrow. But this is going to sound horribly mean. Maybe I should even say it. I finished a glue stick. Okay, let's see here. Luckily, I happen to know where 1 or 2 more are. This friend of hers has Alzheimer's. She's functioning. She was diagnosed, I guess, like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I met her for the first time last year. And I was like, something is wrong with that lady. And then we found out she had Alzheimer's. I'm like, okay, well, that explains a lot. That's cool. And she is functioning completely. But it's hard to talk with her. And that's the only person left down here with my friend. And I'm sure my friend invites her, so, you know, it's like, she says, well, I feel sorry for her. She doesn't have anywhere to go, and blah, 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 blah. Her husband's playing golf with my friend's husband. I'm like, well, oh, this is so luscious. It's like, do I really want to spend? But I can spend a couple hours with them and tell them, okay, that's it. My leg's gone. And one of my new clips just broke. Oh, no, I thought I just fixed it, but I didn't. Okay, we'll worry about that later. Okay, so today, now I printed these at home because my printer here is acting up. Today, we are talking about Lombard Street, the crookedest street in the world, so they say. It's a block long. It has 8 curves in it. It's between Richardson Avenue and Van Ness Avenue, which are, Van Ness is pretty crowded street. One of the cable car routes goes to the top of the hill. Whoopsie, sorry. To the top of the hill right in front of it. So you can get off right at a cable car spot and walk down, or you can drive your car down. And I'm assuming you can still drive your car down. I haven't been there in quite a while. This was a picture of a rug that I blew up and exaggerated it a little bit. I'm telling you, that's my favorite thing to do. Now, lots of bright colors. Let's see what we can do here. I don't know if I want to do green since I just did green. Oh, I know. I had some purple from all that painting I did on trash stuff. And that will go pretty darn good. I think I used one already. one left. Did I use one already? I took some home and left some here, so I may have taken one home. Now, I love that. But I don't like the fact that this is not jagged. Yesterday, ended up one of the phone calls with my sister back home with a very distressing news about her job, which we have been expecting it, but my sister has too big of a heart. So she's very trusting and kind, and to a fault. We've told her this for years and years and years, and she continues to live by her kindness to others, but she continues to get devastated when people aren't that kind back to her. And I am a grumpy person in real life. Not grumpy. I'm a realist. And it's like, Julie, they don't care about you. You are an employee. It's not family. Blah, 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 blah. I know how you feel. Blah, 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 blah. And I feel so sorry for her, because it is a constant struggle for her when people don't get excited. Now, she doesn't have a family, so she's not tied down by that. She's not tied down by other responsibilities. It's her. Just her. So she has more free time than other people to do things for other people. You know, the whole shebang. Anyhow, I feel bad for her because her heart is broken again. They did it in a very blunt and abrupt way that hurt her feelings. How could they have done that to us? Like, Julie. I know. She knows all this. It's just hard when reality hits you sometimes. And it's like, really? But when you're a big corporation globally, pretty much anymore, and you're going more globally because global labor is cheaper, even when you're using labor from the South, which is usually cheaper labor, which is how a lot of industry relocated here all the time. It's because it's cheap labor. Okay, I want to do something different. I can live with this. All right, where are my pictures for today? Lombard Street. Anyhow, the day ended with worrying about her and trying to calm her down. And not that it required a lot, because she knew that it was coming. They've been knowing for years and threatening. Actually shocked that it lasted this long. Lombard Street, from the bottom of the hill looking up, and an aerial view, like a drone shot or whatever. But there's always flowers in the medians, or whatever you might want to call these. Probably because it gives some of these houses privacy. These are very expensive houses. It's on Russian Hill, which is expensive anyhow. But very expensive, very private. And you have, let's see, an average of 250 cars an hour driving down your street. It's brick. So at times I think they have to do some maintenance on it if bricks come uneven. But it gives some of these houses a little bit of privacy. There's a sidewalk. I think you can only walk down one side. That's the way I've gone when I've walked it. But, okay, so it's bright. All right, Richardson Avenue and Van Ness, between those two, claims to be the crookedest street in the world. 1 block long, one direction only. You can only go down. On a busy summer day, 17,000 cars riding down, averaging 250 cars per hour. The Powell Hyde cable car stops at the top in case you want to go. 8 sharp turns or switchbacks. Built in 1922. Had no idea it was that old. Gorgeous flowers, always something in season, and always tons of it. Beautiful explosion of color. Very expensive houses and very private on one of the busiest streets in the world. Oxymoron there, but it is what it is. All right. So yesterday turned out to be, the end of it was a bum. I feel sorry for my sister. It's hard to look for a new job at 58. And you don't have a lot of skills, and you really can't compete computer-wise very well. I couldn't compete computer-wise, obviously, very well either. I would hate to have to look for a job at 58. It would, I mean, but if you have to do it, you have to do it. And I told her, I said, okay. I told her to quit yesterday for you. I said, you won't get your huge, it wasn't going to be huge anyhow, 401k match. She'll get the part she put in. But I said I'd quit tomorrow and just start looking for a job. I know that's not easy, and it's easier said than done, but because they're going to string them along for another month or so. The ones that didn't get their paperwork yesterday might not get it until mid next month. Okay, seriously. She cannot collect unemployment if she quits. But I think it's more important to keep her sanity and the security of having a job than getting unemployment at her pay scale. Easy for me to say. I don't have to look for the job, but I said talk to our other sister, see, because she still is working, and feel her out. I don't even know how to go about looking for a job these days. I know the process is different. Okay, I need something else red. Just sometimes life hands you stuff you don't want to have to deal with. But it's life. My stomach is growling. So yeah, I decided to film when I woke up this morning, which is dark 30, before my phone starts going off. Usually nobody calls me. Where are all these people coming from? It'd be fun to have kind of like a little, I have this ephemera pack, and it would be fun to have like a children's book page of a car or something. Because there is some of that in this ephemera pack. I've showed you this ephemera pack before. But, of course, I'm hoping there's something like that. There never is. Roosters. Camera. Let's see. Motorcycle. See, like a children's illustration of a car would be fun. These came from Daphne's diary, I think. I might use one of these maps from Cavallini stickers. Leave those out. I had lost track of those. Kind of liking that. Brings in some blues. So, anyhow, it's rather boring here today so far, but the day just started, so I'm okay with that. So let me read Paige's and Spencer's. Why do I keep calling her Paige? Sage. And Spencer's take on Lombard Street. This must be motion sickness day. First Bart, now at Crooked Street, moaned Sage. Really? It's cool and you'll pretty. You will like it, I promise, said Spencer. As they got to the top of the block, the car tipped over the edge of the block and then coasted slowly with lots of other cars through the switchbacks. We are on the crookedest street in the world. Wahoo, said Spencer. The flowers are so beautiful. The yards are only 3 feet wide, but they are full of flowers. I want a house just like this. These people must have lots of snooping people looking in their windows, Sage commented. That's what the flowers are for. You can't get close to the windows. So that was their take on a very busy street. Now, is this going to be too much? Just put a tiny bit. I gotta find another one. Some of these pieces of paper that I have painted over the decades, I ripped into little, like 2.5 by 2.5 inch squares to use for things like this. Just splotches of color. Oh, you know what? I like that. I do. So, and the United States hit the 500,000 mark of deaths yesterday, which they had predicted for a couple days. Our numbers are going down, and the vaccine is helping, but boy, oh boy. So I was curious, having a friend who had, her sister had, she's my friend too, had polio, and I've talked about her before. What was the comparison of the polio deaths compared to what we're going through? Because it seemed like the world stopped when this polio thing went crazy, from what I remember in history. And just living with a friend whose sister was almost killed from it. You know, how does that compare to today? The United States had now granted, any death is tragic from this kind of stuff. 6,600 people died from polio. Now, I don't know how many contacted it until a vaccine was come up with a whole lot less medical science. But I was like, okay, so why don't people still believe that this is real politics? I think the United States started off so badly with their politics of all of this, politicizing the whole thing. I think that affected the world a little bit. And it's sad because a lot of people are dying needlessly, if you ask me. Even sick needlessly. Because they don't believe it until they get it, and then they're like, oh gosh, wear a mask. I mean, the gas station I went into on the way home last week, the front door has the sign, the obligatory sign, please wear a mask. The clerk was not wearing a mask. The patrons were not wearing masks. And he no longer has plexiglass between him, the clerk at the cash register, him and customers, which I thought was genius. Where all this plexiglass came from, I don't know. I wish I had stock in a plexiglass company, but it immediately protects you so much more, where a mask might not cover you always, in certain circumstances, depending. I think that's going to look terrible. I don't think I'm going to do it. It's just not the right kind of textures to apply together. Anyhow, so I wore my mask. And I have a paper towel, like anywhere I go, to touch anything in a store. Like yesterday at the grocery store, I pick up items with a paper towel. I open the doors to the freezer cabinets with a paper towel. When I get home, of course, everything. I'm not as diligent about washing things, but I do wash my hands, and I kind of wipe them down with a wet wipe, which we do have available in small quantities now. So, welcome to Tuesday, where I'm complaining. Wednesday for you. The whole way through the video. Sorry about that. Okay. But maybe I'm dizzy from going down the crookedest street in the world. I love this. I kind of didn't want these things to line up like that. Oh well, they are now. Oh, love it. I still need to do something with my bugs. Patience, people, patience. See you all tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye.